Rick, what was the big takeaway today?
Yeah, Susan, residents of the city will see a major change in the way police respond. They will no longer respond to calls that aren't considered in-progress emergency. That means calls like criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and most burglary alarms will all be handled by an enhanced telephone reporting unit. That means residents will file a police report over the phone. Officers will not respond unless it's an emergency. Also, between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there will be no officers at any of the 6 stations throughout the city. Call boxes that link directly to 911 have been installed for people to use in case of an emergency. And during the overnight shift, there will be as few as 20 officers to cover the entire city. The chief said today the data supports that.
Yes, it's enough to cover the entire city in those hours when we have 8% of the time people are calling. I'm confident in the decisions that we make that it impacts this bureau and the city in a much better way than we have in the past.
Now, the chief also acknowledging today that some of these changes are due to staffing shortages. He's down to 740 officers, well below the 850 they would like to have. Now, coming up new at 5, residents, city council, and the police union all weighing in on these big changes that begin Monday. Live in the studio, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakaha Kodash. Yahweh being the name of the Father, who the world even calls God. Yahweh, meaning He exists. Bahashem, meaning in the name. Yahushai, who the world even calls Jesus Christ. Yahushai, meaning He is salvation. Bahashem, in the name. Rakaha Kodash, Spirit Holy. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akyam, fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives through the 4 corners of the earth. To the Akwatim, listen, learn in sincerity, and in truth and in silence, Shalom. Akyam meaning brothers, Akwatim meaning sisters, Shalom meaning peace be unto you. Brother Shema from the GMS Toronto camp here in Toronto with another lesson. Right, we'll get right into it. We saw that clip, right? Pulling back on the police. Pittsburgh police just announced they will no longer respond to certain calls and will instead be redirecting people to a telephone unit. 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. there will be no officers at any police stations. And it goes on to say, under Biden's America, you're on your own. Right? Buy ammo. Down here it has a picture of the purge. Pittsburgh police will no longer respond to burglar alarms. The Pittsburgh police won't be able to defend you, won't be able to protect you between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. They won't respond to any theft, harassment, criminal mischief, or burglary. Looks like it's going to be 4 hours of vigilante justice. I dub thee the Pittsburgh Purge. It says here, a storm is brewing. Right, Lord willing, that might be the title. But we see what's going on. We see what's going on with Babylon the Great, America the Great. Let's get a scripture. Right. And this is all the prelude to all hell breaking loose. Let's get Micah, right? And it's a powder keg. Listen, there's migrants, all kinds of migrants from South American jails, right? The dregs of South American society, right? There's a mix. There's people genuinely seeking asylum, but there's a lot of misfits among those people coming over across the border. Right? Then you have Jake here in America who's uptight and pissed off. You have the Patriots, the good old boys. Right? And crime is already at all-time high. Micah 8. Micah 5 verse 8, and reads, and the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles. Right? Israelites, Israel being a people before it's a place. Among the Gentiles. In the midst of many people, right? America the Great, Babylon the Great, the melting pot. All nations are in America. As a lion among the beasts, right? Beasts being the other nations. Of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver, right? If listen, we've seen the movie The Purge. Jake wilding in that movie, man. Right? If there's no police from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m., you don't have enough squads. You don't have enough personnel in the police station. They're saying between 16 and 63, I believe, to cover the whole city, over from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. Right? The criminals are going to be at work. Micah 5 and 8 NLT. The remnant left in Israel will take their place among the nations. They will be like a lion among the animals of the forest, like a strong lion among the flocks of sheep and goats, pouncing and tearing as they go with no rescuer in sight. Now picture Jake wilding out in a purge mindset. That's what this scripture here is saying, man. Right? 2/3 of Jake's going to be wilding. This is Jacob. This is talking about Jacob's trouble. They'll be wilding out. There'll be brute beasts. There'll be a bull in the net. 9th verse. Thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine enemies, Salakia, upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. Micah 5 and 7. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. The remnant of Jacob. Yeah, Israel being a people before it's a place, is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Amongst many people, in the midst of many people, in the midst of many nations. Right, they're scattered. Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19 verse 16. We'll read from 15. Isaiah 19 and 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, right? Spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom. No work, joblessness, right? Joblessness is increasing. There's no jobs out here. It's going to get worse. Which the head or tail, branch or rush may do, right? All levels, supervisors, employees, white collar, blue collar. 16th verse. In that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, America the Great, Babylon the Great, like unto woman, right? Weak as woman, in great fear, right? And then you have the drag racers out here, identifying as, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahshai of hosts, right? Because this is the Lord's doing, man. So a great vibration of fear is coming to Babylon the Great, America the Great. And it's the Lord's doing. Lord of hosts, hosts being armies, which he shaketh over it, right? This is the Lord's doing. This is the Lord's will. Right? Listen, the time of Jacob's trouble is not going to be easy, man. The scriptures say it's going to be a time like no other. Right, that scene in the movie World War Z, where they're ransacking the grocery store, the pharmacy, and there's all anarchy going on in the grocery store, and a cop comes in, and Brad Pitt and his co-star are they're raiding and grabbing goods. Salakia. They're raiding and grabbing goods, and the cop comes in and they freeze, like, the cop's coming for them. And the cop walks by them to grab a container of baby formula. Right, and that day it's every man for himself. Isaiah 19:16 NLT. In that day the Egyptians, Babylon, America the Great, will be as weak as women. They will cower in the fear beneath the upraised fist of the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies. Right, it's the Lord's doing, man. Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30 verse 6 in the NLT. Now let me ask you a question. Do men give birth to babies? Then why do they stand there ashen-faced, right? Ashen-faced, pale in the face. And what causes that? Fear. Hands pressed against their sides like a woman in labor, right? This is what Jeremiah saw, man. Men holding their sides like they're in labor, right? Right? This is what men are going to be doing in the time of Jacob's trouble. Verse 7, in all history there has never been such a time of terror, right? And this is what's coming to America the Great, Babylon the Great. Never seen before in history. It will be a time of trouble for my people, Israelites. It will be a time of trouble for my people, Israel. Yet in the end, they will be saved. It goes off right there, right? The elect shall be saved. It says here in verse 7, because not all Israel is going to be saved on this side, right? Jeremiah 30:7, KJV. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, right? The elect, right? 2/3 are going to suffer death by pain on this side. 2/3 are going to die in a FEMA camp. Jacob's trouble. Famines. Class wars. Civil unrest. The sword. Gurga troops. Militias. Marauders. Right? In that time there's no law. There's no respect of persons. Right? And what we see with police scaling back, it's just a prelude, man. This is just this is just an omen of what's to come. So with that, stay prayed up, pray without ceasing. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that teach well and rule well. Shalom to the hopeful elect.